Fox rear shocks are not fully user serviceable and will need to be sent back to your local distributor from time to time. But it's still important to keep the internals clean. This basic service is simple to do and will keep your shock in the best possible condition. So stay tuned and we'll talk you through the process. You're going to need a pick or small screwdriver, Fox float fluid, hex keys, a shock pump, paper cloth and degreaser. If the shock is stuck down or shorter than normal when deflated, do not attempt to disassemble it. The shock will need to be sent to a dedicated service centre for repair. If in doubt, visit your local bike shop. First, fully deflate the shock by pressing on the valve with a small point. Remove the fixing bolts from the end of the inner shock stanchion. Rest the rear suspension gently on the frame with some paper cloth or a rag wedged between any contacting areas. When you're happy there's no air left in the system, you can twist the larger part of the can in order to loosen it. If you're having trouble unscrewing the can, wrap an inner tube around it. The increased friction and leverage will allow you to apply more force. When the larger can is loose, you can unscrew the other mounting bolt and remove the shock from the bike. Inspect the shock visually and remove any dirt using degreaser and paper cloth. Ensuring that you have covered your work area with paper cloth, you can now fully unscrew the larger can before separating from the rest of the shock. With some paper cloth and a degreaser, wipe down the internals and make sure there is no dirt present. If you are going to replace the seals, now is the time to do it. There are seal kits available for Fox rear shocks, but you shouldn't need to replace them if you get it regularly serviced. It's not advisable to remove the seals unless you have a replacement, as removal usually damages them. Ensure there is absolutely no dirt under any of the dust seals by applying a tiny amount of float fluid to some paper cloth and wiping it away. The paper cloth can be used to wipe around the screw threads to ensure there is no debris. Take some more float fluid and apply to the seals on the inner and outer part of the shock. Put a few millimeters of float fluid on each of the shock stanchions and distribute it evenly over the surface. Ensure that the shock is in descend mode and that the rebound is set as slow as possible. Then manually compress the shock body and screw in the can. You shouldn't need any more rotational force than can be applied by simply twisting. If you feel like you are forcing it, stop and check that you haven't cross-threaded. Pump in around 100 psi into the shock. Don't forget to reinstate the sag marker ring. The shock can now be returned to the bike. You may find the body is twisted so the eyelets don't align. If so, simply twist the body of the shock so they'll fit. This will not damage the shock. Finally, set your sag as normal. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the rest of the channel.